Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin, and it's March 20th. It's the first day of spring here in Japan, and I'm in the park. Behind me, you can see the cherry trees. They're starting to blossom, and people are having their picnics. They're having a bit of alcohol on this holiday, and they're enjoying hanami, which is cherry blossom viewing. And these cherry blossoms get absolutely beautiful as they start to blossom and rain down their cherry blossom petals like springtime snow. So what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about Rolex Japan's dirty little retail secret. And look, we know that here in Japan, when they get one of these hot models, they indiscriminately set it out, and if you're lucky enough to pop by the AD at that moment, it's like winning the lottery, right? Well, does that always happen? Well, at least on a couple cases, no, because I have former Rolex customers that have given me the inside secret. And the first gentleman told me about this months ago, but he swore me to secrecy, and I never made a video about it. He was afraid, and I think unfounded fears came into play, bordering on paranoia, that his AD would somehow get wind of my video and cut him off, and his honeypot would dry up. All right, okay. But I never made a video, all right? I stayed true to my word until the second gentleman came into my life. And I won't mention really the situation with the first gentleman. I'll maintain his secrecy, but I will say that the second gentleman told me a virtually identical story. And I'll just say that both gentlemen had the same story, but we'll focus on the second gentleman, who is totally okay with me making a video about this. All right, so he bought a relatively undesirable model. It was a two-tone date just, and he just bought it because he wanted it. And months later, he was in the store, and he was looking and talking about what he would like to buy next. Happened to be one of those Steel Professional models. Weeks later, he went by again, and they brought one out from the back. And this happened that time and one other time. All right, so 3 Rolexes, 1 two-tone date just, 2 Steel sports models. They saved the pieces for him, all right? Now, his 4th piece, he didn't go back for a while, but they knew what he had his eye on, and he got a call one day, and they said, come in, we have that piece you're looking for. He showed up, they took it out from the back, and he bought it. And he's on his 4th Rolex, 3 of them, these top Steel sports professional models, and he's pretty much done. And it goes to show that there are VIPs. And look, I mean, I have no judgment on it, other than to say that, there's an element of unfairness, because if you're not willing to buy perhaps what you don't want to buy, you're not ever going to get a chance really to buy one of these top Steel professional models. But there's an element of fairness, because they did support these ADs, these middlemen, by buying what's kind of an undesirable model. And they said thanks by making that Steel professional model happen for them. And an argument could be made that, that's fair. They gave that AD more than I ever have, right? So everybody's going to have their own take on it. But to think that it really is a matter of timing, I think is, like I said in another video, I think it's a fool's errand. And do I think that this happens a lot? Well, I only know that it's happened a couple times, but I feel like it happens quite a bit. Do they sometimes indiscriminately set out these models? I'm sure occasionally, but I think for the most part, it's taking care of the people that take care of them. So I know about it. Japan Rolex authorized dealers. I'm wise. And my viewers are now too. All right, the second thing I want to talk about in this video is what I think is a new norm. And it's going to be the new norm. Well, the norm that we've gotten used to in terms of Rolex and, authorized dealers is you can't and you will never be able to find, say, something like a Daytona or a GMT Master 2. You'll never see the day when your friend gets together a certain amount of money and he says, I'm ready to buy that GMT or that Daytona. And you say, really? All right, well, which AD do you want to go to? And let's make a day of it. And you walk in and you have your pick. That'll never happen. Okay, that's just, it's the new norm for these models to be. No, it's not the new norm. I mean, it's been like that for ages with Daytona. But when it comes to the steel professional models, it's kind of the new norm in that they're all gone. I mean, from the Milgauss to the Explorer to the Explorer 2, gone. And you'll never be able to find those at an authorized dealer except perhaps a one-off. Just getting lucky. It'll be your lucky day. And joining the ranks of those steel professional models, here in Japan at least, are the 39 millimeter Oyster Perpetuals. And look, when it comes to these hot models, I mean, there's a hierarchy. And, excuse me, Ant, you just clear out of there. Okay, yeah, back on that tree you go. All right, so there's a hierarchy of these models, and at the tippy top you have the white dial Daytona, and a degree lower you have the black dial Daytona, and then you have the BLRO and then the BLNR, and it goes down to, I would say, the Milgauss. And the Milgauss or the Explorer 2 42 millimeter, they're lower on the rung, okay? And joining them in their elite circle, but clearly below even the Milgauss, is the Oyster Perpetual 39 millimeter. And like I said, you can't find that here. And the question is, will the 36 millimeter Oyster Perpetual be joining the ranks soon? All right. Well, I think the 369 blue dial has. You can't order that dial style anymore. And that's a popular piece, and I don't think you can find those. So you might say that style, that dial color, has. But you can still get, a 36 millimeter Oyster Perpetual if you're willing to look for it. You might have to settle on dial color, but you can find them. Will that be the case in the future? I mean, will there be a future norm when 34 millimeter Oyster Perpetual is really the only thing you can find, and occasionally they don't even have those. 36 millimeter Oyster Perpetuals, they're as hard to come by as, say, a Milgauss. And, when it really comes down to it, you can't find any of these models. I know you'd be really, really stoked to find the Daytona or the GMT Master 2, but really, I mean, it all works out to the same thing. You can't get even a Milgauss. So, is this the new norm? And are we in a situation where, if you do stumble upon, say, tomorrow, a 39 or a 36 millimeter, 369 blue, or again, one of the 39 millimeters, should you pick it up? In a couple of years, you might regret that you didn't. And the last thing I'll talk to you guys about as I wander around is, hey, Sarah, what's up? What's that? Okay, Sophie needs to go to the bathroom. All right, yeah. Come here. How are you?
Fine.
Mwah. We need to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. All right, guys, I'll come back. Mission accomplished. Okay, so you can get a good idea of the rankings of these top-tier models from their prices on the gray market. Here in Japan, the white dial Daytona is selling for, sometimes up to 25,000 USD. That's well over double what it sells for retail. The BLRO is selling for about 18,000 USD, and for about 2,500 less, you can get a BLNR, and a Milgauss maybe 2,000, maybe 1,000 over retail, and a white dialed 39 millimeter Oyster Perpetual. I just checked the other day out of curiosity. You can get a used one for about what you can get a brand new one at an AD4, if you could find one. And for a brand new 39 millimeter white dialed OP, it'll be about 500 to 1,000 USD more. Okay, so you can get into a 39 millimeter Oyster Perpetual white dial. That's the one to have, apparently, right? For pretty much what you can buy one for at an AD, but it'll be used and it'll have hairline scratches because the one I checked out did. So anyway, kind of interesting. And by the way, just let me throw this out, random thought. I think the next announcement Rolex makes may have an updated movement to go into the 36 millimeter Oyster Perpetual. I think it's due for one. I mean, the 39 millimeter has an updated movement, and I think it's the size and the update that makes that watch more desirable. But the 36 millimeter, I think, is due for an updated movement to catch up to the 39, and will that give it a new life among buyers, collectors, and watch people? Will it seal the deal and make it part of the Steel Sports Elite? I don't know, possibly, but I mean, I love the 36 millimeter as is. You put a new movement in it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Enjoy spring.